Hey YouTube, today we are going to continue on our view tutorial series and I'm going to talk about the conditional rendering. Conditional rendering mainly deals with the conditional operator such as the if-else conditional operators. So let's start by writing our line of code. So the following is a basic HTML5 skeleton, and as you can see, this is the link to the bootstrap CSS, and then also I've included the link to the Vue development library. Make sure you include this link, or else you will not be able to use Vue in your applications. So let's get started. I will start by creating a script tag. Then, as you can see, I will declare a Vue instance. New Vue, that's a Vue instance. Now I will declare the scope of the Vue instance. The scope of the Vue instance is this div with the ID of app. You can give it any name. So you must put the #sign, the #sign as the way you want to call it, then followed by the ID name. Then you declare the data property. Now let's go to the HTML code. We'll create a paragraph tag and we'll say there are mangoes. You can say there are mangoes. This is a basic HTML code. So let's run to see what it is being displayed. So you can see it displays there are mangoes. So we want to use the conditional rendering. We create an attribute with the name v -sign if is equals, then you can create a property. You can say check stock, and then you can put an attribute of true. You can put an attribute of true. Then we say, let me create another one. Let me just copy another paragraph, and then you can say there are no mangoes. So there are no mangoes. V else. Note that the v else does not have the expression part, it just v else. Now let me explain the code. If we check if this v stock is true. If it is true, it will display this paragraph. If it's not true, then the second paragraph would be displayed. You can see displays the first paragraph. Now let's change this to false. You can see there are no mangoes. So if this is false, this statement does not evaluate, or it evaluates the second line of code. So I can create another conditions. Now this conditional rendering is more than true false. It can have multiple choices. For example, I will create a grading system. He is called an A. I can copy this paragraph 3 times. Let's go a B, a C. These are just basic paragraphs. So if we run this code, it should display. So you can see it's called an A, it's called a B, it's called a C. Now let's run this code. Let's create another conditional rendering. You can say max. Okay, max, let's say 90, and now we will use V. We will copy here, just copy one V if, and then we put sorry about that. We column there. Max V if V max if max is greater than 80, that will never not to true. Sorry. And then there's something else that you call V else. V minus sign, then else, then if is equals to you can say if max is greater than 65 and max is less than 80, then we can say that's a B. And then the third condition, we can just say everything else is a C, though that's not the correct, just because I can say that everything else is a C. Now this will check is max more than 80, then it will render this line of code. And if it renders this line of code, then these other lines of code should not be rendered. And then if max is not greater than 80, it will evaluate the second line of code. It will check if the max is more than 65 and less than 80. If it's not true, it will evaluate the last line of code, this line of code. So let's run and see. Since max is 90, it should print an A. You can see it prints an A. Since max is more than 90. If max is, let's say, 72, then that should be a B. Let's say his code a B. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you.